Dr. Jeff talks love, Dr. Jeff talks life, answers your questions, cuts through the strife. Sex and intimacy, real and true, evidence-based, made just for you.
Hello, welcome back to Dr. Jeff Talks About Sex and Intimacy. Today's episode's a little different, and it's very special as we look back over a full year of podcasts. I'm your host, Dr. Jeff Albaugh. Today, you're joining us for episode 53, a year of sex and intimacy, celebrating the best conversations yet. And you can see I'm pretty ecstatic about it because it's amazing that we have all these awesome episodes for you to watch. Whether you're watching live or listening to the recording later, I sincerely thank you for being here. I truly appreciate every single one of you, and your engagement and your curiosity and your willingness to learn are really what this podcast is all about. You're why we're here. We're connected across so many platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on X, we're on LinkedIn. If you're joining us on X and you have a question, you can hop over to YouTube, you can hop over to LinkedIn, you can hop over to Facebook or StreamYard so you can interact with us directly. A quick favor, if you are a Facebook person, the more people who follow us on Facebook, the more we can do on Facebook. So we truly appreciate you following us if you're a Facebook person. But wherever you're watching from, oh my gosh, we are so grateful and so thankful for you. This has been an amazing year, and we thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you for joining us. So visit the website. Wow. 52 episodes. Now we'll have 53 of them after tonight that you can view anytime you want. Go to the website to view previous episodes. Go to the website to look on the calendar. You pull up the calendar, you see all the amazing people we have coming through the end of March. We have all kinds of great programming. So please look and see what's coming up. The website's got all that for you and more. You can take us with you wherever you're going. We are on your favorite streaming source. You can listen to us in the car, as you're walking, while you're exercising. Take Dr. Jeff along. While you're on your vacation, on your road trips, you can listen to Dr. Jeff Talks About Sex and Intimacy on Spotify, on Amazon Music, on iHeartRadio, and more. Take us with you wherever you're going. We love to work out with you. We love to go on the road with you. Take us along. I'd just like to take a minute to remind you of this important fact that I tell you every single time. As always, everyone is welcome here. Whatever your sexual orientation, whatever your gender identity, whatever your relationship style, I can't tell you how happy we are that you are here, and you are so welcome here. This is a space where you are very welcome. So glad you joined us. The mission of the podcast, what is this all about? Well, if you've not tuned in before, it's really simple. It is to empower and enlighten you with the evidence-based scientific information you need to improve your sexual health, to deepen those awesome relationships that you have, those loving relationships, and so that you can ultimately live your one miraculous, wholehearted, amazing life with more love. Who doesn't want more love? And that's my hope and prayer for you, is that you have more love in your life. Over the past years, we've explored some of the most meaningful, some of the most challenging, and hopeful conversations around sex, around intimacy, relationships, healing, and around pleasure. From navigating illness and trauma to reclaiming desire, connection, and joy. This podcast has been about one central truth. Sexuality is a vital part of being a human being. It's a vital part of it. In this episode, we are pausing to reflect and to celebrate. I'm joined by two of my favorite clinicians and educators. They're trusted colleagues and they're good friends. I couldn't be more excited to be joined by Dr. Susan Kellogg-Spadt and Dr. Vic, and also Vic Senese. Hey, Vic, I was giving you a doctorate there. All right, so they've been instrumental
I
voices.
got an honorary one, right?
You got an honorary one. You have done so much
And the
educating.
doctor of computers.
You are the doctor of
The
computers
nurse
and
of patients.
it's so true. And so together we're just going to look back at what stood out, what surprised us, what we've learned from listeners and guests alike, and where the conversations around sex and intimacy is headed next. So this is going to be an exciting episode. A little bit about my two co-hosts this evening, because we're all hosting together tonight. Susan Kellogg is an internationally recognized leader in sexual medicine and women's health, sexual health. She's a board-certified women's health nurse practitioner, a certified sex counselor, and she is the director of female sexual medicine at the Center for Pelvic Medicine at the Institute for Female Pelvic Medicine and Reconstructive Surgery, and she is in Pennsylvania, so she is in Philly. Vic is a certified urology nurse with extensive clinical experience in male and female sexual health, prostate cancer survivorship, and complex urologic conditions. Most importantly, Vic, I got to shout this out. Vic does 5 different podcasts. He has made it his life's mission since he retired from clinical practice to bringing awesome educational experiences to healthcare providers, to patients. He has UroNurse for urology nurses. He has UroPatient for patients. He has a daily news broadcast about what's new and exciting in urology. Every single day, the man is out here talking to you about what's new and exciting. And he has Dr. Jeff Talks About Sex and Intimacy. Vic, it's amazing what you've done with all of your podcasts and all the viewers and what you've achieved. So thank you for all you do.
Well, I think it's what we achieved. Yeah. I'm going to actually take a quick segue from what you just left me with here and kind of go over some stats with the show. I think it's your viewers are certainly going to be interested in knowing more about it. So you did mention I'm on multiple podcasts because one can't be enough, right? So UroNurse is what kicked it all off about 3 years ago. And it's really a podcast that's aimed at healthcare professionals, whether you're a nurse, physician, advanced practice, medical assistant, anybody working in urology, this is really geared towards them. Now, the thing, oops, I hit the wrong button. Too many buttons here. I found out a lot of patients were actually watching the show, and it really wasn't geared towards patients. So I said, well, obviously there must be a need. And I know that patient education is important. That's what all of us have spent most of our careers doing. So I started UroPatient podcast at uropatient.com. I have to tell you, that one's been out for 2 years. It's also my #1 podcast, has the most viewership. So that really hammers home the fact that patients really are looking for a good way to find out more information in urology. Of course, then I talked to Dr. Jeff about starting a sex education, and he took over as host of the Sex Talk and Sex and Intimacy Talk. And I'm going to go through some statistics on how well that's been doing, but 1 year and going strong. And then, as he mentioned, I didn't have enough on my plate, so I decided to do a 5-minute news show Monday through Friday called UroNurse News. And I cover everything from urology to whatever new and exciting. I just recently had an episode on the dangers of kissing, what you can catch. So
Wow.
Check that out. So let's go through some statistics. Now, these are statistics based on the show, your show, Jeff. So it's had over 170,000 views over the past year. Pretty impressive. This is on YouTube only. Found in 47 countries across the globe.
Oh my
I think
God.
there's only 138 countries. Ages. Now, this is probably not too big of a surprise. The largest population tends to be the older population, but we're kind of covering all different ages. These are your top 10 episodes, starting from the top left and moving down each column you can see. So from 1 through 10. Yoga and sex, when sex hurts, pelvic floor. The #1 was actually your first episode, which was just the Sex and Intimacy 101.
Wow.
So a lot of yoga, things that are kind of off the the typical beaten path, mastering the vacuum device. This was another interesting thing. As most people that are watching the show know, that after the show comes out, we produce shorts from the kind of more interesting little parts of the show because people love to scroll through those. So I was putting together last week's show with the short, and within the first minute after I posted it, there was already 505 views. That shows that shorts get a lot of viewership.
Wow.
LinkedIn is the other place that we are seeing a lot of growth. Overall, the channels had a 422.7% increase over the past year. And you had a lot to do with that. Kind of shows over on the right-hand side, the impressions from episode 23, almost 20,000 people. Episode 137, and that was from Euronurse. This other one was yours, though, Ann Russo. Religious trauma at 10,000 almost. So LinkedIn's growing. Spotify, people like to listen in the car. Again, that's growing. I thought this was interesting. They did this little thing that talks about how Spotify is looking at your show compared to others. It said it's 77% on your debut episode. You beat all the other new shows. That's pretty good.
Wow.
And fans listen to you longer than 72% of other shows. So people are listening to the whole show. That's your number one show on Spotify's episode 4. Again, multiple areas of the country, of the world that are watching and listening. Facebook, it's lagging behind. Is without 100 followers, you can't do a promotional channel. So it's kind of attached to my channel. So people follow Dr. Jeff about sex and intimacy so we can build that one up. And here's probably your largest growth market has been X. You are the number one show for all of my shows for live viewers on X. People love you on X. Unfortunately, the only problem with StreamYard and X is I can't do comments on X. So just a small flaw in the system. But otherwise, as you always remind people, they can always go on YouTube or Facebook if they want to put comments in, or LinkedIn. Now, here's just the top 10 shows that were on X. And the ones in yellow are all your shows. And you can see half of the shows were yours that were the top viewership in X. So it's really been a great plus to my podcast, and shows how well you're catching on. So that's a little bit of the stats on how things have gone. Glad you're still willing to do it, because I think there's a big need out there.
Absolutely.
It's so fun to have you in front of the camera again, Vic, because usually you guys just don't realize how much he does behind the camera when Susan's hosting or I'm hosting or whatever we're doing. It's just like he's flipping things up and changing things up and adding little things in. So I can't imagine doing it with anybody else. I really, really appreciate you putting ribbons in and all things in constantly that I'm like, I don't even know what half of them are, but it's been really good. And Susan, gosh, when I'm looking forward to when I go to Puerto Rico, she's going to take over. I never have to worry about the show, because when I'm gone, she takes over and has an amazing guest on, and it's all good for sure. So that's really, really good.
Jeff, speaking of Susan, I have some clips here I'm going to share with everyone.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the blooper reel, Vic?
Welcome, my friend.
Thrilled to be here to talk about our favorite subject, which is sexuality and intimacy. So really excited, but really cold too. Look at the cold as an opportunity to cuddle. That's what you got.
I love that. Look at the cold as an opportunity to cuddle. It's perfect. Recognize.
So that was the second episode, and you were already so comfortable right into it. You were actually on 5 episodes, so let's take a look at episode 12.
Speaker and author. Let's welcome Dr. Susan Kellogg-Spadt.
Hi, Jeff. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be back.
I'm so happy you are back. You have so much to share with our audience. And tonight, I know we're both really excited about this topic, and I thank both for sharing their expertise.
So then came and joined us again on 34, where I think this is the one where Jeff was actually just giving the intro, and you took over the whole show.
Enjoy the episode. Yeah, this is all
Hi,
Susan.
everyone. I'm Susan Kellogg-Spadt. My guest, Dory Ellen Fish. And thank you, Jeff, from the Rockies. We're really, really psyched to talk about this tonight. And sometimes, Dory, when people think sex, they don't think acupuncture. So why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about what is acupuncture anyway, and how does it dovetail or intersect with the field of sexual medicine?
I have to say, you're really comfortable with your audience. I mean, with your expert, kind of bringing out all the information from her.
Yeah, and actually, I think we got someone else who came on the show because of that episode, who was very interested in being on the show, and that was all your episode, and so we got a wonderful guest out of that too. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So you can kind of go on vacation whenever you want, Jeff.
I know.
My favorite subjects.
For sure. And this is one people have been asking about and wanting. So I so appreciate you tackling it for us. And I cannot wait to hear about it. And I know our listeners are eagerly awaiting. So I'm going to hand it over to you. It's all yours.
All right. My pleasure. So when I think about perimenopause, I think of a roller coaster, because a lot of women come in and they are...
Susan Kellogg-Spadt and Alicia Williams. Welcome.
Hey.
Okay, and this one is one of my favorites. What a great discussion we're going to have. So let's kick it off. We have a few slides, and then we're just going to talk. There's so much we could talk about that we may have to do a second episode, but here we go.
So yeah, that was just a little glance at all the things that you've done for the show, Susan.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Continues to be my pleasure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's such a fun show, and we do have such great guests on too. It's pretty exciting, definitely. It's just been so much fun, and that's when we were trying to think of what are like our favorite episodes. I'm like, they're all so good. It was hard to pick, but I tried to give a few heads up for one, but one of them was definitely, I love that episode with Alicia where we talked about outer course and non-penetrative sex. And that all came out of one of my patients asking about those. Can you give us the basics? Some of us have never learned our anatomy that well. And what is outer course? What in the heck is it? And we've had two episodes, one that you did with me earlier in the year, and then that one that you and Alicia did. It was a lot of fun.
There can never be enough about that, because I think we're such a fast-paced society. We just get right to it, don't we? And so many people, they define sex as penetrative play, or, to be very blunt, penis and vagina. That's what they define sex as. So the other things are like, waste of time, take too long, blah, blah, blah. And the truth is that most of the arousal and the juice, the sauce that makes it arousing is not the final result. It's all the lead up. It's all the flirting. It's not even, it's clothes on stuff half the time. Do you know? It's the stuff we watch Netflix for God's sake. I guess both is on Netflix at this point. But at the end of the day, it's outer course stuff that really is what is underrated, I think. And so I think we should have at least 2 episodes on it every year, because the ways never end. And particularly, the ways never end when people have specific disabilities, when they have to alter the way that they make love because of how their hands or their limbs or their bodies move, or the way that they cannot or can't speak, that type of thing. Don't you agree?
Oh gosh, I so agree. And it's so true. And how fun it is when we take intercourse or penetrative sex off the table and go, okay, you can do anything else. What are you going to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we could talk about it every year, just like you said, because there's so much to unpack and so many different things. And we talked about some fun things, some fun ways to do that, creative ways to do it. It's just, we get into our psyche of this is how it has to happen. We've had sex for 40 years together, and this is what we do. I touch you here, I touch you there, you touch me here. Are you good? I'm good. Did everybody get what they want? But sometimes it's fun to mix it up. Yeah. Everybody sometimes is like, wow, what would it be like to go at this painstakingly slow tonight? That can be fun. Or what? Let's have a quickie. Maybe that's what it. But we can mix it all up, and it doesn't have to be about penetration. It doesn't have to lead to this one goal. It can lead to all kinds of fun, interesting places, right?
Absolutely. You know what I want to know, since Vic, you're with us tonight, can
Yeah.
you tell me a little bit about what listeners say? What do they want to hear more about? Have we offended anybody over the last year? I want to know.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I've never had anybody offended or say, you guys are crazy or that's wrong.
Whoa, yeah.
And I've had some real weird comments that'll come up periodically, but it's usually something with one of my shows. Yours has been pretty innocent, so it's
Okay.
something disagrees with something I said. One of the big ones is I did something on the millennials, and boy, oh boy, that show went crazy with the number of millennials typing in, "We're really not that bad," and I'm like, I didn't try to insult anybody. I just made a point.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot. When we had Kick on, we would have a few like sexual comments and different things said in the comment section that nobody saw. And so we actually came off of Kick because of some of the weird, lewd things that were said, but nothing else. I mean, everything else has been great. And I'm telling you, it's been incredible. Like people will write in and be like, talk about how it kind of changed, how the show's changed their life. And I had one of my groups that I run, they listened to the podcast that Holly Richmond did on sexual trauma, and they couldn't stop talking about it. They were so excited about it. So it's been fun to have different people, to hear the comments and the different things that people have had to say. Absolutely. And then, of course, people have contacted us wanting to be on the show, different things like that as well. And but I gotta say, I'm really very protective of who I pick and choose to be on the show, because I want this to be a very reliable, evidence-based show and not a platform for sales or whatever you're hustling.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think, so many people, because we're both in clinical practice, and Vic, you were in clinical practice, and so many people just are craving evidence-based information, and they don't know what to think. Their gynecologist says one thing, their PCP says another thing, their best friend says another thing, the lady at this bank says another thing, and they're so confused about what's real, what's reliable, and how to proceed with their own health care and their own sexual health care. And, I have to applaud you, Jeff, for having this platform, because at the end of the day, we can't say anything on this show that we can't back up with a reliable paper, research, book, article, etc. We all know the rules on this show, and that is that it has to be right. It has to be evidence-based. Yep. So, and so I think that's not so many podcasts you can get like that, to be honest with you. You get a lot of celebrity opinions on things in different podcasts, but that doesn't mean it's real. So.
And it's so cool because people don't even understand. It's things like, we did a podcast on vibrators. Is there research on vibrators? Of course there's research on them. So it's amazing that you really can find good evidence-based information on the things that you're looking for. And that's really what we try to be the source of. But it's so funny. When we started, we were like, okay, Vic, I said, Vic, I want to keep these episodes to about 30 minutes. Yeah, that very almost never happened. And like one of my favorite
it's like
episodes,
trying not to go over an hour.
Yeah,
I know. But one of the first longest episodes was friends of you and I both, Erwin and Sue Goldstein.
Yeah.
They were talking about what's new. And that was one of my very favorite episodes. And it went on for like an hour and 15 minutes. And they were like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. We're going so long. I'm like, please don't stop. It was amazing information. So, but
there's always new stuff with sex. Always. Yeah.
Sure. And you know as well as I do, no one on the face of this earth is on the cutting edge more than Erwin and Sue with the San Diego Sexual Medicine. They push the boundaries. They do what a lot of us are afraid to do to help people with sexual dysfunction. They do the research, they do the studies and push all the boundaries. So I'm going to have them on again this year for sure. Cause I'm like, but this time I'm like, okay, we're going to do 2 or 3 episodes so you can talk about all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So now I have another question for you, Vic. Viewership, males, females, or people who identify as male, people who identify as female, people who wish to not identify. Give me some stats.
Pretty balanced between men and women. We don't really get any statistics on non-binary, so I really couldn't tell you what that is. But and I showed what the age group was, mostly older folks than younger folks, but kind of a variety. So it is a pretty wide audience. And I don't think I mentioned, but my total viewership for the whole program has just reached almost 1.5 million views.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
It's
wonderful.
A lot of people out there that are
So
seeking
all
it.
5 shows come under the Euronurse channel, and so we all come underneath that. But that's amazing, 1.5 million views. Wow.
I never imagined it in my wildest dreams.
Gosh.
And it's kind of nice because there is that crossover comes in handy. I had talked about vasectomies in one of my programs for Euronurse and Europatient. I talked both. And I did receive a comment. Somebody made a comment that ever since my husband had his vasectomy, our sex life is completely gone. And I'm like, well, there is a show, another podcast that I have that you may want to look at because this is not normal. And so I did recommend the Dr. Jeff Talks About Sex and Intimacy to them. So all these shows tend to kind of feed each other.
Definitely.
Yeah, we've heard that many, many times, and not just vasectomy. We hear it after hysterectomy. We hear it after sometimes tubal ligation. Sometimes we hear about it after a baby is born, a beautiful, healthy, bouncing baby is born. Yeah. Some people say, well, that was the end of my sex life. So it isn't certainly confined to surgery on the genital organs, but sometimes things change in people's lives. And so we tackle all those subjects.
I think people want to know they're not crazy and that there is help out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's just been so great because people have been so gracious with their time and so excited to share their information. I mean, I was really excited because I use Dr. Holly Richmond's book in practice. I mentioned her earlier because I love that. I thought that episode was amazing. And I use her book in practice, and here she came on the show and talked and sparked all this great stuff from a lot of people with sexual trauma. It was such a good episode. I was so proud of what she did. And I afterwards, like you ended, sometimes when it just, so many of them have so exceeded my expectations. But I thought to myself, this is such great information. I would like everyone to be with sexual trauma to have access to this. It was such a good episode and pretty cool. And so there's been so many good ones, that's for sure. It was so funny because when you had talked some on menopause, and then I'm like, gosh, they keep asking about perimenopause and can we do that? And so then I put out there, what do you think I should do? I'm looking for somebody to do something on perimenopause. And then you rode that roller coaster, which was another one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's such a wild time of life. It is such a crazy time of life as hormones change so dramatically. Is there a time in guys' lives that happens? Do they ever have
never,
wide
never.
swings?
No, absolutely, Susan. Absolutely. Menopause is real. And it is challenging. And two, a shout out to my prostate cancer patients out there who know what a hot flash is and how frustrating it is beyond measure. Most of you know I run a prostate cancer support group, and those men are always talking about the challenges of all that stuff. And two, and I don't know, you tell me, Susan, if you see it as much, but they also talk about, just as distressing, not as common, the cold flashes. They're like, you get the hot flashes and cold flashes both.
Oh, well, it's because you're soaked from a hot flash, and then you're trying to get back to normal, but your clothes are wet. So you're like, oh my God, and you're shaking and shaking and shaking. And it's just like there aren't enough clothes in the world to keep changing your clothes to keep up with that. And when men are under hormone therapy for prostate cancer, they go through the same thing. And I think sometimes worse. I've seen something really flash really hard in the middle of a support group, as a matter of fact. So.
Oh yeah. I've seen it too. And, we've had some wonderful sex therapists on and some couple counselors and stuff to talk about love and relationships. That's been really fun. And actually, when I sent out the thing about this, Dr. Christian Jordell sent something back saying, Happy New Year. He's been on twice and it's been fun. So we've had some just great topics with psychologists, with urologists, with gynecologists. Vic,
And
I know-
physical therapists, right? If I'm not mistaken.
oh yes, we've had.
Wait a
several
second, Jeff. I got
people.
one that's even on top of all that. My favorite, and people that watch the show know I like to do these promos every week.
This
So
is
this
the
was my
best.
favorite promo. It's also
This
one of
is
my
the
favorite
best.
episodes. So I'm going to play that one for you right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
In this passionate and thought-provoking episode, Dr. Jeff is joined by Dr. John F. Potts, family medicine physician in urology and devoted tango enthusiast, to uncover how the art of Argentine tango mirrors the dynamics of love, intimacy, and connection. They show how tango is more than a dance. It's a metaphor for trust, vulnerability, and the give and take of relationships with insights from Dr. Potts' clinical expertise. And life on the dance floor. Join us on September 23rd at 7 p.m. Central Time to learn more.
I think you need to
Okay,
put that on the
Vic,
website.
that was you singing, right? That was you, right?
Oh yeah, that was me singing. That's AI singing.
That
Vic,
was
you need to-
amazing.
You got to put that on the website. It's such a good promo. You need to put it under like our favorite promo of all time because it was so funny and
was
so
so
good.
Gosh,
And what
oh
people
my
don't
God.
realize that are watching the show is we can see each other on the bottom of the screen. So I'm putting this on and I can watch Jeff's reaction. He's like, oh my gosh.
Because sometimes your promos, it'll have the guy will be like covering his genitals. It's just hysterical sometimes the things that you come up with. But that tango one was the best by far.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was great. How do you
It's
get
funny
that?
how we can connect with each other over such a distance that Dr. Potts actually did a talk for SUNA in Louisville that I attended.
Mhm.
And so I came up to her after her talk and she was doing her same thing about the tango. And and she recognized who I was. Big hug. I mean, there's that connection that's made, even though we're this far apart, that you still connect with people.
Absolutely. That's the beautiful, beautiful part of podcasting, isn't it? Love
It
that.
is.
People are, and that's what it's all about because we're all so deeply connected, and I think it's so fun. And then the guests, all of them, just really have enjoyed sharing their expertise, and it's been so fun to watch and hear all the different things they've shared. It's been really amazing, but definitely.
So I want to know what mountains we haven't climbed. What's up for 26, and what do patients want, or listeners, what do they want to hear more of?
Last year we did two different things on sexual trauma related to religion, like religious sexual trauma, and I think we might do another episode because you saw the one with one was very popular. It was one of our top 10. So I think that's a really hot topic. But I'm really excited. We have a lot of things coming up. Definitely. We have, I don't know if you guys know Dr. Stephanie Buehler, but she has the Buehler Institute, and she's a renowned sex therapist, and she's going to come on talking about embracing sexuality, separating myths from truths. So that's going to be an exciting episode. That's episode 55. We have several different urologists coming on to talk about, one is going to talk a little bit about erectile dysfunction after prostatectomy, but we also, the newest thing in prostate cancer treatment is focal therapy. And we have two different urologists who are going to be joining us to talk about focal therapy, which it's kind of like with breast cancer where they started doing a lumpectomy rather than a mastectomy, and they're doing the same thing rather than a radical prostatectomy. They're removing part or half of the gland of the affected part, which is very exciting because it decreases some of the side effects and stuff. We have an episode coming up on, you talked about pelvic floor physical therapy, and we do have one coming up with you on unlocking orgasm, the pelvic floor connection. I love when we have the physical therapist on. I don't think we can do enough of that. And I'm so glad you decided to do that. What made you decide to bring a physical therapist on again? What were your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, they are a wealth of knowledge, and they actually have so much time with patients, because most pelvic floor physical therapists are with patients for an hour at a time. They really, really understand the patient's frustration and their wants and desires when it comes to sexual activity, comfortable activity, and optimal activity. And so when I thought about, well, my gosh, I can't celebrate pelvic floor PTs enough. And sure, they do work with pelvic floor pain, but what else do they do? And they work a lot with incontinence, but they work a lot with optimization of orgasm and not being able to orgasm, or having too many, or never having enough, or, you know, all those things. And so much of that is tied into the neuromuscular system that they work on. So I thought, let's have them talk about that.
And we didn't talk about that yet. We talked more about, our focus was on pain. We've talked about incontinence. We've talked a lot about the pelvic floor, but we have not talked specifically about the incredible role it plays in orgasm. You can't orgasm without your pelvic floor functioning properly.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
That's going to be a great episode. There's so many fun episodes. Episode 56 is, and I love this, it's called Mindful Love, How Presence Transforms Couple Relationships. It's learning to be more present in your own life and in your relationship. Here is one of my all-time favorite things that we're going to talk about. It's called Put Your Phone Down and Pick Up Your Life and Your Love.
Oh my goodness. That's about right. Oh my goodness.
Right. We've talked so much on different episodes about the 5 love languages, and we're going to actually have an episode on that. And then also Dr. Andrew Christensen, who trained me in couple therapy and integrative behavioral couple therapy, is going to come on and talk about when love meets reality, acceptance, change, and the work of staying connected. So that's amazing, because I trained with him in California. He was really excited about coming on. So he's going to be on the podcast as well. We have one called Beyond Sex, Creating Well-Rounded Intimacy That Lasts. So lots of really exciting topics, we're always open to other ideas as well. We're going to do something, I haven't put it in there yet, but we're going to do one on sensate focus, because we've talked a lot about sensate focus, right?
Right. Yeah.
I'm actually thinking that I'm going to have you maybe join me on that. So, because we all use it a little differently with patients, and just kind of talk about how people can just use it themselves. It's
Absolutely. Yeah, it's sensate focus is great. Kind of taking that intercourse off the table and seeing how the night progresses, or the day progresses, as the case may be.
Definitely. So I'm excited. Masters and Johnson developed it years ago, and then they kind of did a reformed version of it about 6 or so years ago. So we'll talk about all that, and just how it can help. And that's what it's all about. How can we help you love deeper? How can we help you have a more fulfilling relationship? So it's exciting. Well, Vic, what other clips do you got for us?
I got to bring one out here that I'm going to share with you now, because I do use a lot of AI, as you probably figured on. And I keep learning new things in AI. So this was something I came up with, and I'm watching Jeff's reaction in the background, and I was like, I got to put a montage of this together.
This episode, Dr. Jeff is joined by women's health expert Amy Ho, NP. They discuss the latest.
In this episode, Dr. Jeff welcomes Dr. David Luyando to highlight the overlooked role of the urogenital.
In this episode, Dr. Richmond shares evidence-based insights and practical strategies from her book. Dr. Jeff sits down with nationally recognized sexual health and reproductive medicine expert Elise Forsnight.
Dr. Jeff is joined by urologist and inventor Dr. Landon Trost.
None of those are real people. Those are all pictures, AI making them do what they're doing. Jeff was not getting together with them to shoot that at a time.
Oh,
Susan,
you're muted, Susan. You're muted because probably you were laughing so hard. You're still on mute.
I said that should be called the many hairstyles of Dr. Jeff.
Oh God, that's so funny. But and I just had one of my faithful listeners and one of my very closest friends texted me earlier and said, I'm very frightened by AI, Jeff, and Vic. Because they were looking at this promo. See, a lot of people don't necessarily see these promos, but Susan, your head was on a body, mine was on one, so it was, it was like, oh God.
Yeah, now I'm pretty much trying to find, if I can get your picture off the internet, you're going to be created into a live scene.
All right, I'll have an avatar. We'll have Dr. Susan and Dr. Jeff avatars. That sounds awesome.
Totally. So you trust me, you were AI'd with the promo for this episode. The three of us were sitting at a desk together, so it was pretty funny.
Yep.
All right.
One of the things I have to ask you, Jeff, is, and I know when I started Euronurse, I was thinking, once a week, every week, 52 episodes. I'll never be able to come up with 52 episodes. Now you've come up with this is episode 53, and you're talking about all the future. Did you kind of find it, because you do all the programming for this, you get all the talent together and come up with the titles and all that. Did you ever think it was going to be this easy, or is it not that easy? Maybe.
Some of it's so easy and so wonderful and falls together so beautifully. And as you well know, some of it is complicated and challenging. We have had a few episodes, and you've had this with your other podcast, where people, for very legitimate reasons, had to back out at the very last minute.
Yeah.
The last one that happened, my friend saved us. One of the professors from Loyola, Dr. Sandy Tenfeld, who's a women's health expert, jumped in, I mean, literally at the last minute, and did something for us. Someone had a death in their family. And so there's been some real challenges. Sometimes it's really difficult, because I'd like to say this about it. I'd like to remind listeners, honestly, Vic watches the numbers. I say a prayer before every episode that this episode will reach the exact person that it needs to. And if it did that, we hit our mark. That's my goal, is to hit the person who needed to hear what we said tonight. That's always my goal. So yeah, sometimes it's frustrating, because I'll reach out. I was just showing Vic something that said, I reached out to a therapist and said, hey, I saw you did this stuff on, I forget what it was on. It was on Sensei Focus or condomology, the use of condoms, or something fun that I wanted to do in the future. Mm-hmm. And I got back from one of the firms that handles those people. If you have 50,000 or more followers or something, then we'll come on and do that. And I'm like, well, that's not what this show is about. This show is not about that. This show is about you, listeners, finding the things that are meaningful to you and that resonate with you. And I'll tell you that probably the thing I'm most proud of is one of my really good friends says, this changed my relationship with my husband. And that is one of the things I'm most pleased about. Kind of tears me up a little, because I love that friend so much. And that it affected them in that way. I think, wow, that really blows me away. And there's other people who have reached out and said, this episode was so meaningful to me, or it meant so much to me. And this is why we do the podcast, honestly. It's really exciting when it resonates with people. And I know that it does. And so that's a wonderful thing. It's really not about the numbers. I have to be transparent with everybody. I don't even have a Facebook account, or I have no account.
That's why you have so few followers on Facebook.
So if you wonder why, I have absolutely, people send me stuff all the time on Instagram, whatever.
This
I have no
Dr.
account.
Jeff is joined by Women's Health.
What? Hello. we got you. You're muted.
Yes, you do have an avatar, however, Jeff. You have several.
There you
I
go.
do. So I am absent on social media except for Dr. Jeff Talks About Sex and Intimacy, which I'm very happy to be a part of. But so if it resonates with people, that's really what it's about. It's a wonderful thing when it does, and so many episodes have. I know that vacuum pump that was at the top of the list. I just had someone who just contacted me and said, I can't tell you how much that episode has helped me.
That's really not, there's nothing else out there quite as good. That and the injections where you actually, step by step showing exactly how to do these things. I mean, that's coming into a clinic and seeing you or I to learn that stuff. And it's over the internet.
Very practical, very different from some of the other episodes we do, but literally showing you how do you make it work? How do you take a vacuum pump and incorporate it into your love play? What are all the little tips and tricks? How do you do a penile injection? We showed you with models. So it's really been great to have all those different types of episodes, some very practical, some on relationships. We had yoga demonstrations. I mean, just all kinds of cool things. So it's been a great year. What other clips you got for us, Vic?
So I got one final clip. Now I'll set this up a little bit. So as you can see, I like to kind of do a lot of this stuff with AI. So I really got into the music. I'm a musician by trade. I started a band when I was in college. It kind of kept me from doing real work while I went through college, playing, with the guys. So now I'm able to create music using AI. And of course, I take our show and put AI together, and I come up with, we had an episode on sexually transmitted diseases, and here it came.
Sexually transmitted infections more common than we know. Touching every age and background anywhere you go. Dr. Jeff and Amy are here to make it clear, breaking down the facts so you can live without the fear. They're talking prevention, testing, treatment too, cutting through the myths to bring the truth to you. Stay safe, stay strong, keep your story in your hands. Knowledge is the power that helps you take a stand. Judgment-free guidance, lighting up the way for you and all your partners every single day. Every single day.
See, we can have a concert just on sexual disease.
That was great. That was great. I was in the beginning, I was like, where is he going with this? Are they going to leave the concert and have, hook up, or what's going to happen?
That was
oh my gosh.
And that was a great episode, though, on STIs. It was a really good episode. Dr. Amy Hall did such a good job really helping people understand. And a lot of people don't know about all the different barriers and, all the different things with safe sex. And so it was a really good episode. But I love that. That was like that. Okay, now that one rivals the tango one. It was so good.
Yeah, I think so too.
And every show has its own intro music and outro music, such as what we do for your show. And I actually had a viewer write in and said, I really love the song in the start of the show.
Mm-hmm.
It is resonating with our viewers. So I got to have
good.
two of my favorite things, podcasting and music.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and you do such a great job. I mean, that intro and that closing jingle, I think you did such a great job. But I love the STI one, the safe sex one. That one's really good too.
Same. Absolutely.
Gosh. It's so good. Let me do our little closing exercise.
Yeah, I was just going to say, one of the things that I have found is that viewership goes up for your closings. So you're centering, people want to be centered. And I do a lot of the centerings. I'll put them in the shorts. Those always have high viewership. So let's go to our centering.
All right. And we'll come back to us. So before we come back to give our closing comments, let's just take a minute, like we always do on Dr. Jeff Talks About Sex and Intimacy. I'd like to invite you into a brief centering moment one that honors both where you've been and where you're going. That's what we think about at this time of year, right? Where we've been and where we're going. So get comfortable. Rest your feet flat on the floor, lay down whatever's most comfortable to you, and then take a comfortable breath in through your nose and slowly exhale through your mouth. As you breathe that way, in your nose, out your mouth, gently reflect on one idea, one insight or moment from what you've learned from the podcast this year that kind of stuck with you or stayed with you. What resonated with you? Was it about relationships, intimacy, sex? Something that helped you feel less alone. Everyone, in this day and time, I can't tell you how many couples walk into my clinic who are in a relationship, but so lonely because they're living parallel lives. Something that helps you feel less alone. Something that helps you feel more informed, or that was very helpful for you. If you're comfortable, place one hand on your chest and one on your abdomen, wherever feels grounding for you. As you deeply breathe, remind yourself silently, or follow along with me, because I'll repeat each one. My experience matters. My experiences matter. My sexuality is worthy of care and compassion. My sexuality is worthy of care and compassion. Growth happens in small and meaningful steps. Growth happens in small and meaningful steps. I am truly worthy and I am enough. I am truly worthy and I am enough. Because you beautiful spirit, you beautiful listener, you are truly worthy and you are truly enough. I hope that that lives in your heart. Take one more slow breath in and let it go. Thank you so much for being a part of this community, for listening, for reflecting, for questioning, and showing up for yourself and for your relationships. Here's to continuing the conversation, deepening the connection, and making space for pleasure, for healing and intimacy in all forms. Well, Vic, what's up next week on Dr. Jeff Talks About Sex and Intimacy?
Dr. Jeff is joined by leading urologist and researcher, Dr. Arthur Burnett, to unpack the complex issue of post-prostatectomy erectile dysfunction. They discuss the anatomy of erection, the impact of nerve injury, and the spectrum of therapies. He discusses options from rehabilitation strategies and meditations to surgical options. This episode offers clarity and encouragement for men and couples navigating sexual recovery after prostate cancer. Join us on January 13th at 7 p.m. Central Time to learn more.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have Bud Burnett on. He is a renowned urologist, and he's going to really enlighten us with his expertise, so it'll be fun. But this week, wow, it's just been so interesting looking back, and it's been a whirlwind, wonderful year. Thanks to both of you as well. So I really appreciate all of your work on the podcast as well. So I'd like to have just whatever you'd like to say in closing to our listeners, and I'll finish it out. But Vic, do you want to
Yeah, I
Talk to
just
us.
want to say it's been my pleasure to be able to sit behind the scenes and control the things and not have to be on the screen. But it's just been I think a great help and great tool to be out there for patients. And behind it all is a need to help still, and that's what we're really getting. Why we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'd echo the thanks too. I thank you to Jeff for giving me the honor of co-hosting, and the honor to learn all this cool AI stuff from Vic, because I'm not very facile in your world, Vic, and boy, have you helped us so very much. And most importantly, thank you to the listeners. Stay curious, stay interested. Let us know what you want to hear, and we will deliver.
Definitely. So listeners, gosh, I cannot thank each and every one of you enough. It's been an awesome year. Tell others, and I hope exactly who needs to hear about whatever it is to do to enhance your sexual health, to improve your sexual health, and to deepen your loving relationships. Whatever that is, I hope that we're able to provide that for you. We're going to do our best. And thank you so much for tuning in and wanting to learn more. If this year hasn't taught you anything, I hope the message that resonates most with your heart is that you are worthy of love and belonging. Everyone is, and that we're all deeply and intricately connected. So when you hurt someone, you hurt yourself, because we're all really one. And I think that connection is so important. And I hope that I can't think of anything more important to invest in than your own health and your loving relationships. So here's to you, your health and your loving relationships. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for a great year. Can't wait for 2026.
All right.
Dr. Jeff talks about sex